Hey YouTube, it smells like Vin here, and I have not done a video in a while. I have the next part of my Nirvana discography ready to upload, and so I'm going to upload it with this video. But I wanted to do a random album review today of an album I've been listening to a lot lately, and that is Warrior on the Edge of Time by Hawkwind. Now, pretty sure I talked about this in some other videos I did, but I think space is a really cool thing. Outer space, that is. It's just a topic I'm really interested in. I think visually it's amazing. I'm really interested in planets and stars and nebulas and galaxies and stuff like that. And any type of music that can emulate that feeling, that tone, I am definitely interested in a lot. So I decided to look up the big space rock albums because there's space in the name. And I have heard stuff, I love Pink Floyd and I love other bands like The Verve and stuff who were associated with that style. But I never really got really deep into it. And so I decided to check out this record by Hawkwind. And Hawkwind, a really underrated band that were around during the 70s that actually featured, at one point in time, Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead. So that's a strange thing to think about. But, yes. This album is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And there are so many reasons why, I think it's amazing. First thing is the sound itself. This band doesn't limit themselves to just by the way, if you can't already tell, I feel like shit. Winter's starting to get to me, so if I'm all sniffling and all that shit, that's why. But the band doesn't limit themselves to just guitar, bass, drums, and vocals. These guys have a broad range of instrumentation in their music. You get everything from flutes and trumpets and brass instruments, all the way to keyboard effects, and the whole album just has a lot going on. So that's the first thing I love. This album has a lot to listen to. It has a lot to show you. And the more you listen to it, the more new things you'll hear. It's not one of those albums where if you listen to it once, you basically just know what's going to happen. It depends really how much attention you're paying to it. If you just put it, on as background music, then whatever. But the real reason I wanted to review this album is because last night if you guys know, I told you I have like a black light in my room, and it's really cool. It sets up a nice vibe. So I turned it on, I pulled back my chair, and I just sat back and listened to the album, and I wasn't here anymore. It really does take you to another place, and I think if an album can do that, it's automatically good in my book. But of course it needs more than that. And this album has it, and that brings me to my point number 2. And that is what the band does with variety. This band, on this album, they do a lot of different things, and I mean that structurally, too. Like, take a song like The Demented Man. Synthesizers, acoustic guitar, vocals. That's it. It's all it needs to be good. Then you take a song like Spiral Galaxy, where there's so much shit going on. Synthesizers, all these weird feedback noises, really hard-hitting drums, a thumping bass, and all this shit going on that just assaults you. And then you get to a track like Opa Loca, which is a funny name. All the song is just that drum beat with just synthesizers behind it. So right there's 3 totally different archetypes for a song. Some really, really epic and big and in your face. Some just stripped down and floaty. So the band does things where you're not just sitting there kind of waiting for something to happen. The band constantly keeps it interesting. They give you something, they don't set up an expectation so that listening to the album is exciting, and I think that's great. Third thing I like, and possibly one of my favorite things about this record, is the flow. Now, take an album by a punk band. Well, all the songs are similar, and there's not a whole lot to distract you from the main focus, which is just to be heavy and in your face, right? But when you get an album like this, that has its focus based on immersion, on immersing you in this world that the band is taking you to, you need it to have a flow, so it can sound as streamlined as possible. This record never comes to a stop. And by that I mean, when one song ends, it doesn't end silence, and the next song starts. You'll hear this kind of like weird like spacing noise. You'll hear like wind. You'll hear like water and like echoes and footsteps and stuff and weird sound effects, and you're like, okay. And then it gradually fades into the next song really cleanly and precisely. And so that makes it seem like it's this one long 45-minute journey. It doesn't make it like, oh, that was cool, stop. Okay, next song, stop. You know what I mean? That would break up the void that the album kind of creates for the listener. So that I just admire the way they made this record flow. Each song just melds into each other, and it's like this one big long epic, and it's amazing that way. So that's the third thing. And then there are the spoken word bits, which are Wizard Blew His Horn, The Warrior, and one other, and I can't remember what it was, so I'm sorry. But they're just like kind of poems being recited with a lot of like energy and kind of melodramatic kind of way of reciting them, and every time he says a word, it echoes out and just echoes and echoes and echoes. And there's all this weird like spacey kind of sound effects going on in the back. Some people like it, some people don't. Me personally, I think it's really cool. When I first heard it, I was like, I don't know if I'm really going to be into this, but it definitely sets up atmosphere. And I don't see them as filler. I think some people do, I don't. I think they work really, really well, and I enjoy them a lot. I think they're really cool, especially if you get into the lyricism that they are, well, not lyricism, but I guess, very poetic and interesting. Yeah, the production is good. In fact, it's perfect because the album's not too clean, but it's clean enough. It kind of finds the perfect balance between clean so you can hear all the interesting and unique instrumentation that's going on. Right in between, it's kind of dirty, so it gives it that edge for the more hard-hitting songs. So the production is perfect for this album. And this is just a cool fucking album, dude. It really, really is. So much things going on. It just puts you in a trance. You know, it just has this atmosphere to it that I have yet to come across. It's something else. You know what I mean? It really, really is. If you're into 70s music, give these guys a chance. If you're into psychedelic rock, space rock, or just do drugs and want something to trip to, put this album on and have a nice trip. So, Hawkwind, Royal on the Edge of Time, I'm going to have to give this album a 9.7. There's basically nothing I don't like about it. I am just hesitant to give any album a full 10. But yeah, awesome album, great shit. I'm gonna check out Space Ritual, which is their most popular album. This actually isn't their most popular album, but it's a live album that gets a lot of praise, and evidently it's even better than this album. So if I really enjoy it, I'll give you guys a review of that, and see you guys in space.